I'm Jackie Kravitz. I've been in real estate for 28 years, have listed and sold over 1,500 homes, and for the past 16 years, I have coached tens of thousands of agents. I can tell you that I know a thing or two about the challenges that real estate agents have and what are some of their most commonly asked questions. So I decided on this video to take you through some commonly asked questions like, I'm a part-time agent. I cannot make these prospecting calls. What should I do? Or should I be working with buyers? Should I be doing open houses? How do I take listings in a very competitive market? These are all common questions. Not only am I gonna answer them for you, I'm gonna give you actionable strategies so you can start taking more listings, selling more homes, and making more money. So let's get right to the first question. First one I wrote down is, I want to be a listing agent, but I'm afraid to stop working with buyers and have nothing. What should I do? Well, there is no way, in my opinion, to ease yourself into being a listing agent, because working with buyers is extremely time consuming and distracting. And becoming a great listing agent, and what do I mean by great listing agent? Taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 listings a week, whatever you choose. To be able to do that consistently every single week, you're gonna have to dedicate all of your time, energy, and effort to that one task of becoming a great agent and focusing on listings, which requires you to prospect, talk to people you don't know. It requires you to improve the quality of the conversations you're having, your communication skills. You're gonna have to work on your belief that you can actually do this, which I also call mindset. So how are you going to be able to consistently prospect Monday through Friday, work on your skills while you're running around showing properties to buyers? It's not going to happen. And I can tell you from all of my experience and being around tens of thousands of agents, I've never had an agent say to me, oh, I want to be a buyer's agent. No, every agent wants to focus on listings. Why? Because they all know, and I'm sure you would agree, buyers are unpredictable, time consuming, and they suck all of your energy. So while you're involved with that, you're not going to be able to develop the habits, the discipline, the skills, and the mindset of great listing agents. So you know what? If you're really committed to this, just cut off your options. There are no options. Burn the boats and focus with energy and put in all of your time on this, and you can make it work. That's how it's done. Second question I wrote down is, how I can get more listings in a very competitive market. I love this question because the truth is, a very competitive market, meaning like there are thousands of agents or tens of thousands of agents in my area, and they're all calling, every day. And they're, I talk a lot about expireds and physicals, and they're getting a lot of phone calls. So how do I succeed in that type of market? Well, or by the way, any other market situations like high interest rates or, a bad economy or whatever may be going on out there, okay? It doesn't matter. The truth is you have no competition. There's all these agents calling, or buyer's market, seller's market, interest rates. These are all outside situations and circumstances that have absolutely nothing to do with your ability to succeed. you have no competition except what's going on in your head. And that's what you have to focus on changing. You can't change what's happening with interest rates, what other agents are doing. You can't control it. The one thing you can control is what you do and how you improve yourself. And everything you do to improve yourself, your skills, your mindset, and your discipline, those things are yours forever. And they're going to not only make you a fortune in real estate, they're going to improve every area of your life. So quit blaming a lot of agents, the market, the competition. Quit doing that, because when you're blaming some outside of yourself for your lack of results, you're being a victim. And successful people are the total opposite of victim. They take full responsibility for their results. And when they do, they have incredible success. The only thing that stops you from succeeding is what's going on up here. That is your biggest competition. So take care of strengthening your mindset every single day. That's the answer. Next question. I try making calls, but no one answers the phone. What should I do? Wow, do I hear that like every day? A few things. Number one, you want to take more listings. Therefore, you must call new expired listings every day, because those people want to sell. So if you want to take listings, you should be talking to people who want to sell. And new expired listings get a lot of calls from real estate agents. It doesn't mean that these agents are your competition, because the truth is the vast majority of them, of these agents, have no idea what they're doing and what they're saying. The reality, though, is because they're still calling, so these new expired listings are getting a lot of calls from agents on the day they expire. Sellers get frustrated with all of these calls from agents that don't even know how to hold a conversation. And so it's critically important, if you want more people to answer the phone, especially new expires, for you to call them at 8 a.m. local time. 8 a.m. local time on the day they expired. Because if you call at 9 or 10 or later, they are so tired of getting calls from agents, they stop answering the phone. And the sellers, these new expireds that are going to relist right away, by the time you call at 9, they already set 2 or 3 appointments with agents that called before you. So they stop answering the phone anyhow. Or even if they do answer the phone, because some may still answer, you're going to have to convince them now that they should meet with one more agent. That's you, after they've already set a couple of appointments. So it's not gonna work well for you. And I know, not only from personal experience, but from all the agents that I've coached as well. My first couple of years, I used to call, first of all, my first 2 years, I only called nights and weekends. So I never called in the morning. But third year, I started working full time. And I used to call expireds at 9 a.m. because I thought 8 a.m. was too early. And they were going to be upset, or I was going to wake them up. And it took me quite a while to convince myself to call at 8 a.m. after actually hearing that from a lot of successful agents that I met and I role played with. And I can tell you that when I decided to start calling at 8 a.m., it was a huge difference. Did I list expireds calling at 9? Yes, but it was a battle. People don't answer the phone, or you have to convince them they need talk to one more agent. So 8 a.m. new expireds. Next thing you need to remember is you want to take more listings. Call for sale by owners. They answer the phone more than any other type of prospect. Why? Because they want to sell their house, and they're hoping that when the phone rings, it's a buyer. Not 100% of FSBOs are going to answer the phone, but more of them answer the phone than any other category of prospect you can call. The other thing is call people in addition to the morning prospecting between 6 and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. Late afternoon, early evening is a great time to call and more people will answer. And then finally, Saturdays and Sundays. I prospected Saturdays and Sundays all day for my first 2 years in real estate. Saturday mornings are a great time to get people to answer the phone, and Sundays, amazing. I had so many clients tell me, oh, yeah, I was hesitant to call on Sunday, and people be upset. But it's like, oh, there's so many people answer the phone and they're so nice. Yes, because they're not being bombarded by calls from agents like sometimes they are during the week. And then the final thing I want to say to you about people not answering the phone is make sure your number is not coming up as spam. There are ways to check. A lot of clients, my clients in the SalesX community, share different things they do because that's a possibility. And if that's happening, obviously people are not going to answer the phone. So do a search online, figure out, ask your broker, and make sure your number is not coming up as spam. Next question I wrote down is, I have a full-time job and I can't follow the schedule that you recommend, Jackie. What should I do? I was a part-time agent with a full-time job for my first 2 years in real estate, and I was able to make it work. And I'm not the only one. I have coached a lot of agents that had full-time jobs and they transitioned into having incredible real estate careers. What I say to agents is, so my first 2 years, I was a stay-at-home mom with a 6-month-old and an 8-year-old. Cooking, cleaning, taking care of the house, taking care of the kids, taking my son to school. My daughter was a baby. So what did I do? I prospected nights and weekends because that's the time that I was able to do it. So you have to figure out, okay, when can I make the calls and just get to it. Don't, like, if you are not really committed to it, especially if you have a full-time job or a part-time job and your time is limited, you're gonna have to really want it. If there's one thing that I know contributed, huge contribution to my successes, I really wanted it. I was just tired of being broke and being a victim, and I was gonna make this work. I saw the opportunity, and that opportunity is out there for you too, and you gotta make it happen. So you have limited time, great. Use all of the time that you have to actually make calls. And when you're driving or you're cooking or cleaning the house, make sure that you're always in the background listening to some educational material. My training platform has close to 1,000 hours of training, video, audio, live calls, endless. It's educational stuff, and it's skills, and it's mindset, and it's tools and strategies. So you gotta be feeding your mind with that kind of stuff every moment that you can, and then make as many calls as you can when you're not doing your other job. That's it. There's no other way to do it. Next question. Do I ever leave messages for FSBOs or expireds, or do I just keep calling? Do not leave messages. That's the short answer. You let the phone ring 4 times, hang up, dial the next number. I never left messages. Some people might call you back, not because you left a message, because they see a missed call and they call back to see who it was. FSBOs may call you back because they're expecting calls from buyers. So they don't know if this missed call was a buyer. So they may call you back for that reason. Leaving messages is a waste of time. I never did, but a lot of my clients try to leave messages and they say, oh yeah, that was a waste of time. Nobody calls back. If they're going to call you back, they'll call because they missed a call, not because you said something so incredibly amazing on a message. Additionally, leaving messages is distracting. When you're prospecting, you want to create a rhythm and momentum. Leave message, ring, 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 leave message, start, stop, whatever. Just total waste of time. Next question. Should I do open houses? I actually wrote this question down this way. Why shouldn't I do open houses? That's a better question, because you should not. I don't recommend that my clients do open houses. Here's why. It's a passive approach that attracts mostly buyers. And most of these so-called buyers are not ready, willing, and able to buy. So in essence, most of the people that walk in an open house are lookers. They're not real buyers. And then somebody said, well, yeah, but you know, on an open house, I could also, maybe a seller will come in. Yeah, maybe like once every who knows how often. So here's how I respond to that. By prospecting Monday through Friday for 2, 3, or 4 hours, you will consistently find sellers. You don't need to be doing open houses to once every, I don't know, 10 or 20 open houses you find a seller, when you could actually be calling expireds and FSBOs and neighborhoods and for rent by owners and find sellers every single day. Like, expireds and FSBOs are people who are interested in selling. So that logic around an open house is a completely waste of time. And then I wrote this down. Why would you open a seller's house to unqualified strangers off the street? I find that to be a safety and security issue, okay? I would never do that in my home, so why would I do it to someone else's home who's trusting me to take care of selling their property? And then the final thing I wrote down is, sellers don't need you to do open houses. If they wanted to do an open house, I mean, is that why they're gonna list with an agent, so the agent can do an open house? I mean, come on. They're hiring you to actively and aggressively talk to as many people as you can every day to find sellers and buyers for the sellers that you have. Why sellers? Because you want to find buyers. The best source of the highest quality buyers are active listings. And the more sellers you have, more listings you have, the more buyers calls you get. You're not going to work with them, but you're going to refer these buyers to a buyer specialist, and you're going to collect a referral fee. So your job is to do what sellers are not able to do or won't do, which is the actual active and aggressive prospecting. Period. End of story. Next question. Should I do some research to become more familiar with the property before calling? Or should I check the MLS to make sure that expireds haven't relisted? No and no. Waste of time. Ineffective. If 10% of the numbers you dial answer the phone, you're doing amazing. 90% of the numbers are not going to answer. So now it's like this. Look, the people that are doing the research, okay, let me go and check, and when did they buy the house, and how much did they pay, and what's all the MLS history. I don't know, whatever research they're doing. They spend 5 minutes researching, and then they dial the number, no answer. Now they go another 5 minutes researching, dial, no answer. How in the world are you ever gonna create a rhythm and momentum? And how many times will you do that before you say, this is crazy, this doesn't make any sense? So all the information you need, if you're using a service, and if you're not, you're getting expireds from the MLS, or you're getting FSBO info from Zillow or somewhere online. The information you need to have a conversation with them should be right in front of you. The address, their name, the price of the property, their phone number, maybe you have, depending on the service, if you use a service, number of bedrooms and bath. That information is in the MLS. Visible, that information is out there. You don't need anything else. So do not do that. And do you need to check an expired in the MLS to see if they relisted before calling? No, it's a waste of time. They are showing up as an expired listing. Call them. And if they say, I already listed my home. Oh, great. So did you already sign a contract with another agent? Yes, I did. All right, good luck. Goodbye. Click next number. And if they say, no, I haven't signed yet, but I will. Well, now it's open, right? But you don't need to go in the MLS. Again, it's going to take way longer for you to do that for every listing than it is to call and find out. They listed, you signed, okay, great, good luck, goodbye. That's it. Next question. How do I get over my fear of making calls? Wow. By making calls. That's the answer. Okay, let me elaborate a little bit on that, right? Does it make sense to you logically that by thinking about the fear of anything, the fear is going to go away? Actually, it's the opposite, okay? The longer you wait and procrastinate and think about the fear, the bigger the fear is going to get. One of my favorite quotes is, the best way to overcome fear is do what you fear and do it a lot. You want to get over the fear of making calls? Talk to 100 people today. You talk to 100 people in one day, the next day you're not afraid anymore. That's how it's done, period. Next question. I'm only selling if I can get my price. How do I respond when a seller says that to me over the phone? You do not have any price conversations with sellers over the phone. So when they say, I'm only selling for this price, can you sell it for $500,000? Mr. Seller, that is a great question, and I'm not going to insult your intelligence and tell you how much your property is going to sell for without doing extensive research and actually taking a look at your house. And that's why I'd like to come by and meet with you for 20 minutes. In preparation for our meeting, I'm going to do a detailed market analysis, and when I arrive, we'll take a look at your home and look at this information together, and we'll determine what is the highest price that we can sell your property for in today's market. So would 3 o'clock work for you for our meeting today? Would 4 be better? That's it. Next question. I just joined Sales X training, my coaching, and I have never made any calls before. When should I start? I get this question so often. The answer is immediately, because there are different things that you can do to build your confidence and to improve your results. Certainly, practicing, watching all of the videos, joining my live calls. There are 1,000 hours of training. It's like amazing, and I gotta learn the scripts, and oh my gosh, so much stuff. But the truth is that, and that all those things are going to build your confidence, and you have to do them every day. But the reality is that there is no substitute for massive action. And waiting to start taking action is only going to delay your progress. So, yeah, but, I'm not comfortable and I want to learn all the scripts. That's usually how it comes. I want to learn all the scripts before I start talking to people. You can download my free script book, by the way. The link is in the description of this video. You could go to Sales X Training and download it there. But the truth is that you don't need to know these scripts. Yes, the more you practice, the more you learn that, the more confidence you're gonna have. But in the beginning, you have the script in front of you, dial the phone and read it to them. That's how everybody starts. So you don't need to spend a couple of weeks practicing or learning. No, you learn as you go. You learn as you go. Another great quote: for the things you have to learn before you do them, you learn by doing them. So start immediately. Next one is, where do I get phone numbers? Even here on YouTube, oh my gosh, there's so many people asking, where do I get phone numbers? The answer is, there are free resources online. You go in your MLS, you pull the expired listings in the morning. There are lots of websites for free. You can copy paste the address of the property, do a reverse address search, and there are many websites free. A little time consuming, but it's there. And a lot, and by the way, FSBOs, you can find them on a lot of different websites. Zillow is one of them. So a lot of agents, when they're new to all of this, they don't want to invest a lot of money in services for phone numbers. So you don't need it. Do the research yourself. And once you have a few listings and a couple of pending sales, great. Then you invest in phone numbers. When I started selling real estate, everything was looking up on my own. All these services that are available today were not around. I used to drive around with a notebook and a pen, parked in front of the houses, write down the address and the phone numbers for FSBOs and have a long list. And that's how I called FSBOs. Went to the MLS for expired listings, search whitepages.com. Neighborhood calls. I used to buy these CDs, crisscross reference, something like that. Put the CD in my computer to be able to get neighborhood phone numbers. It's so much easier today. And you can definitely do that until you have a few listings and a couple of pending sales and you're able to afford the service. Last question. What's the best way to follow up on my leads? I love these questions about leads because I teach my clients to set appointments, not to get leads. And I'd like you to adopt that mindset, because if you believe that you're going to get a lot of leads, well, you're going to get a lot of leads and very few appointments. And the truth is that you can set 70 to 80% of your appointments on the first call. You can do that. If you use my scripts, you'll be able to do that. So what do you do though? Do you ever get leads? Yes, absolutely. But not because you're expecting to get a bunch of leads, but yeah, inevitably you're going to end up with some leads. So how do you follow up? Obsessively. What does that mean? That you're going to keep calling until they answer the phone. You're selective in who becomes a lead for you. You have to really have a strong conviction that you're going to be able to set an appointment next time you talk to them, so you don't end up with hundreds of leads, because then the good ones are going to get lost in the shuffle. So you're selective, which is going to allow you to be obsessive in following up. You call at 10 a.m., they don't answer. Call at 11, they don't answer. Call at 12, call at 1. Call every hour on the hour. Trust me, they'll answer the phone. And you have lost way more business from under-calling than over-calling people. So don't be afraid to overcall. And where should you keep your leads? Number one, all in one place. What place? Whatever works best for you. It doesn't matter, as long as it's organized and you are looking at it every day so your leads don't fall through the cracks. I personally, totally manual system when I was selling real estate. I kept my leads in 5x7 cards. I had a stack of blank 5x7 cards in front of me. I get a lead, I pull the card, I write down the address, the name, today's date, a couple of bullet points, and then I had a 1 through 31 accordion folder, which was like for every day of the month. So I decide, okay, I'm gonna call this lead again on tomorrow. So I put it on whatever day of the month tomorrow is, and every day I just pull the leads from that day. I used to call them in the morning after my prospecting calls, and anyone that didn't answer the phone, I carried those 5x7 cards with me all day. I'm going on appointments wherever I'm doing in the afternoon. Those cards are with me, and I'm calling them several times until I get a hold of them. That's how it's done. You don't want to use a paper system. Like I said, there's so many different CRMs and systems you could use. The important thing is that you keep them all in one place so they don't get lost. You don't accumulate too many leads, which if you're making calls to set appointments, you're gonna set more appointments than accumulate leads, and then just call them obsessively. I trust that this video was helpful for you. Put your questions and comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.